as many people here know, I'm a used to be, I mean, I still am a political scientist, and I know that there is, I've seen plenty of bad social science research in my time, but I think it's important, and I'm not trying to start a fight here on this, but I know that I pay attention. I look to see what's going on and what's being said about some of the supposedly bad research that's being funded. And my understanding was the $1.2 million video game claim was given a pants on fire by PolitiFact because it was helping to study how to keep seniors sharp and keep their cognitive skills up as they're getting older. But that said, I mean, there is some bad research, but we need to be doing good research. Obviously, there are, as all of you have pointed out, social science research and how people interact is key, because it's one of the weakest links that we have right now in cybersecurity. I wanted to ask about technology transfer. Ms. Benzel had mentioned barriers to technology transfer in your testimony. I have a great deal of interest in this, particularly in areas like cybersecurity. It is vital that we translate as much federal research as possible into new products and new companies that we can help keep our cyber infrastructure secure, and also have the added benefit of creating new jobs, so long as we can also address the workforce and education issues that our witnesses have raised. I just want to ask the panel, what steps can the federal government take to best partner with industry in encouraging technology transfer in the cybersecurity sector? Ms. Benzel?
Yes, thank you very much for your question. It is an important area. So we do need federal government to help us fill the gap between the university research and industry, and I think I can speak somewhat authoritatively to that, having spent much time in a university as well as being a vice president of research at McAfee. We've all heard about the valley of death. So we really do have some models that are broken between expecting that industry can just pick up and take research prototypes that have been developed in a university kind of setting. So we need strategic funding, which pushes us in a particular direction with an awareness. The DHS&T program run by Dr. Doug Mon has introduced new efforts to work with VCs through its SciNet organization to be able to get venture capitalists and to have the researchers be aware of technology transfer from the day that they write their proposals. The National Science Foundation has introduced its transition to practice. I'm arguing that we need a lot more of these sorts of things where we have very early on awareness of where we want to go. And as a researcher, we want to do the fundamental basic research, and that's absolutely necessary. But as researchers, we also want to see our work have an impact. And we need help in working with the different types of organizations. And that's where we call for, as the bill currently does, industry partnerships with venture capitalists, with different kinds of technology organizations. There's really nothing currently in that middle to help fill the gap between the research dollars and the product dollars. And I have to say, unfortunately, it's not realistic to believe that industry can simply pick up and do it. Industry is focused on its near-term markets, next quarter features, and are totally market-driven and sales-driven, particularly in today's economy. And so we need some bridging dollars, which should come from combinations of university, public-private partnerships, and federal funding in that new area. Thank you very much.
Dr. Chang, do you want to add something?
Sure, I'll just support what Terry mentioned. There's this motto I like to use, technology transfer is a contact sport. It's not uncommon for the private sector to establish sort of, I guess, what you might call lablets or sort of mini labs with the university. And the folks in the private sector would work sort of shoulder to shoulder with the folks at the university, such that when an innovation is developed, it isn't sort of tossed over the cubicle wall and you'd like for the private sector company to incorporate it, but rather they are generated together. To the extent that this kind of notion of kind of working hand in hand between the government, between the private sector, and in academia would be representative of this notion of let's develop the technologies together. Technology transfer is a contact sport. Let's have them work together. I think that's a useful concept here.
Thank you. quick question. Mr. Barrett mentioned NSTIC. I just want to know, when will we be able to do, instead of having passwords, have a thumbprint that we could use to identify ourselves?
Very quickly,
Online.
please.
Yeah, so we are actually working on that. That's the FIDO Alliance work that I mentioned at the beginning, which is trying to develop open standards to actually make those kind of technologies become much more widely used. And I think you will actually see products deployed in the market before the end of the year that do exactly that.